Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Bonky here, aka the Lonely Achievement God, continuing our Zen playthrough of Wilmot's Warehouse. This will bring you all the way through an entire normal mode playthrough of the game, showing you my strategies and the little tips and tricks I can give as we go through this. Um, there's not any insane strategies or glitches or anything to be had here. This is just a way to show off the game itself and to show off my strategy for playing the game legitimately. Um, we are already a year into the game. We're still working on getting rid of these pillars, which once we do that, will open up what we do a lot more until the end of it. We still got probably 2 or 3 quarters before we can get rid of all of the pillars. But we basically figured sorting everything out last time. And just real quick, I want to run through these items with you because some of them are related to groupings, and I want to reinforce that even if we aren't forcing or focusing on the groupings in this playthrough. The nut is an item for a group. The teacup is in a group. These fangs are in a group. The mallet is in a group. This block may be in the patterns group. The patterns one is the only one I don't have memorized very well because some of them feel like they should be involved and some of them aren't. So this one may be. This is involved in this milk bottle is involved in a pattern. This is involved in a grouping. This is involved in a pattern. Yeah, I'm an idiot. This is involved in one of the groupings. The pill here is involved in a grouping. The scissors are in a grouping. The crowbar is in a grouping. And I believe these are cricket wickets that are in grouping. And I don't know what this is because I am not from the UK, but I know that it is part of the English collection grouping. The magnet's in a grouping. The ladder's in a grouping. This is a symbol that is in a grouping. I believe it is in the English collection as well. I think this is in a grouping as well. The rolling paintbrush is in a grouping. The brush is in a grouping. The wrench is in a grouping. The chain link here is in a grouping. This lock, maybe, I am not 100% certain off the top of my head, and the paintbrush is in a grouping. So, I mean, we have a decent amount of items and groupings here. The biggest thing is, I think about 10 of them are from the hardware, Mr. Bricolage, I don't know how to say that, achievement. So, we only have like 4 different achievement groupings, but we have a ton of items for the groupings we currently have. So let's move on here. We'll continue on throughout the game. I will be popping in with commentary whenever it is necessary. But I will be shutting up now. Real quick, I will say, even if an item isn't, like in this case, if an item I need isn't for one of the 5-star or 3-star customers, but you have enough enough room in your strength to carry it, you should grab it anyways just to save yourself some time. I wasn't sure if the dark blue logo there, the white lines, I believe that might be like a subway station or whatever the equivalent is. I saw that I needed it and I couldn't remember if it was for the 5-star customers, so I had room enough to grab it. It saved me another trip back down. That's not really something you need to do. You have plenty of time to deliver everything, but just wanted to point that out to everyone. back with another upgrade screen. Honestly, at this point, there's not really any one of these that means anything significant. So I'm just going to grab the right one. If we do everything perfectly, I should be able to get 2 more after the next quarter. And then we'll be close to... There will be a stock phase that happens here before the end of the year that will take a significant amount of time because I'll be basically reorganizing the entire warehouse into what it'll look like. Into something that will be able to manage everything up until the end of the game. So, but unlocking a third make space does not unlock any other upgrades, and so we will continue on here, and I will go back to being quiet. just going to pop in here and say you may have noticed a couple times when I go to drop items, like I just did with the pills there, the game is supposed to, it tells you that you can drop items pressing B. For some reason, sometimes when you bring items and they're enclosed like this, it'll drop the entire stack. But sometimes you might notice that it doesn't do that. I have no idea why. It is annoying, and if there is another button combination to avoid that, like the right analog as opposed to using the left analog in A, I am not aware of it. So, unfortunately, that just seems to be something you're going to have to get used to. I initially thought that orange tile that just came in was a Christmas tree, and it is a wizard's hat. I just wanted to share that because I was calling it a Christmas tree for the longest time, and then I found out that it belongs in the hat grouping, and I was like, why would you wear a Christmas tree? It's got a it's a wizard's hat, not a Christmas tree. You're welcome. Any of you that may have thought it was a Christmas tree, I've just saved you that embarrassment. And since we're at the manifest screen, you will notice we are at 60 out of 200 items. At this point, it means we could see finches or bananas at some point as well. I will say, I will interject here and say, if your goal is to get all 1,000 gamer score, then you may want to look at the re-rolling deliveries method that is covered in the expert mode and pause glitch playthroughs. Because if you get the finches and bananas, you may want to re-roll your deliveries until you get those. Because if you decide at some point you want to get all 1,000 gamer score, and those end up being the groups that you still need, you will kick yourself for having not taken care of them when they showed up. In my proof of concept of my pause glitch, I ignored the bananas when they showed up in an earlier playthrough, and I had 3 of them, and I never got the 4th. And then it took me another 15 playthroughs to even see a banana again. So every other grouping can spawn before the first year, but if you do run into bananas or finches, I highly recommend looking into some of the more advanced techniques like re-rolling and the pause glitch in order to get those out of the way. If you are reliant on RNG, it could take you a significant amount of time to get those items. I played this game legitimately for weeks. I did not even use the expert mode reduced time to go through the game. I played the game legitimately, hoping the RNG would be nice to me, and after 50 hours of playing the game, I still had not gotten my finches. So I just want to pop in here and say I understand this is a Zen playthrough. I understand that we are doing this just to relax and show off the game itself and how I organize for my regular playthrough. But you may want to consider looking into those other methods, if nothing else, just to get the bananas and finches. it could save you a significant amount of time replaying the game later on. Like I said, it took me over 50 hours of regular playthroughs, and I still hadn't gotten all 4 Finches. And then I switched over to the expert mode, and I still didn't get the Finches, which is where I discovered the pause glitch and re-rolling deliveries. And when the Finches finally came up, I was able to re-roll my deliveries to get all 4 Finches the first time that I tried in a playthrough. So I highly recommend looking into those. Your call. You may end up being significantly luckier than me. God knows everyone in the world seems to be, but for me, it was a miserable experience trying to get those final groupings, being the ones that you have to wait until the second year even to have a chance to see the items. It's worth looking into and making the decision yourself. And I wanted to point that out to you now that we're at that point in the game where they might pop in. I'm I'm going to continue on. If we do get lucky enough to get a banana or a finch, I will demonstrate re-rolling the deliveries just on the off chance that it never, gets patched out of the game and you want to do it. But I'm only going to do it once, just so you guys know what it looks like. And there will be separate videos on my YouTube channel showing the re-roll a method if you want to just watch that instead. Okay, we'll continue on here, and I will go back to being quiet. Real quick, I'm going to buy the make space on the left here, and that will unlock the another tier of upgrades, the manifest and the time lapse. The manifest allows you to check the manifest of items whenever you want. Again, it's not super useful for the actual gameplay because you can always take a look at the manifest 2 out of the 3 months when the deliveries come in. So late game, it can be useful just to have it as an option, but whenever you want. But it's not really a priority to unlock. And same with the time lapse. The time lapse is super cool. Uh, I think it speeds up. It pretends like there's a camera watching the entire warehouse from the beginning, and then it speeds up the the video basically of recording from that viewpoint by like 10 times. So it's actually very useful for me making my guides for this game, because I can show you exactly how I organize things, if you prefer, without having to sit through 6 hours of gameplay. Um, I will, of course, be purchasing the time lapse so I can record the time lapse of this warehouse at the end to attach to the guides for my website, but it again isn't something that's very useful for going through the game itself. As far as this, I'm going to purchase the bottom right make space because I'm starting to run out of room with the light blue tiles. That seems like the best way to go here. By the end of the next quarter, I will have unlocked all of the make space pillar removals, and we shall move on to the stock take there, and I will be reorganizing my entire warehouse to get it more ready for the end of the game. So what I'll probably do is just play this next quarter and get that last pillar unlocked and end the video, and we will start the video after that with the grand reorganizing of the warehouse. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, taking a look here. We're going to purchase this final make space pillar removal, and that will unlock the Dungarees for purchase. So if you've been following along, to get the Dungarees achievement, you need to purchase Rotate, Strong, either Stronger or Speedy to unlock the pillars. Then you need to unlock all 6 of the pillars, and then you need 96 stars for the Dungarees. They are cosmetic and do absolutely nothing. Once again, it is one of my biggest disappointments with the game is that the upgrades kind of front load, and then everything else you get is just that's kind of cool, but it doesn't help me in the game. So, but the Dungarees are tied to an achievement. So if you're as we're going through the game here, the quickest you could unlock them would be another 2 quarters, I think. Because I believe I've gotten 11 stars on every uh, 11 stars on every phase so far. So I would need, if I didn't purchase the stronger upgrade, then that would give me another 30 to put me at 39. So I'd get 50, 61, 72, 83, 94, 105 from another two quarters. So yeah, so you'd have to play perfectly through the first 5 quarters of the game in order to unlock the Dungarees. As it stands, I probably won't purchase them unless, well, I mean, I will eventually because you have nothing else to spend the stars on. But um, the next thing I'll purchase is probably the strongest, and after that, it doesn't really matter. Nothing else is important to going through the game. So we'll pop back into the game here. And we're going to finish off the playthrough right now, or not the playthrough, this part of the playthrough right now, because we're going to be reorganizing the entire warehouse to get set up for the end game, which we're still a ways away from, but it's better to get it all set up now than wait around for it to happen and then be unprepared. It's easier to get it organized when you have less items, so I like to do it once the pillars go away. So I appreciate you spending time with me and watching this playthrough, and we will continue in what I believe is part 4 next time.